That was amazing. I was listening to the music going, what's next? Totally got lost in that song. That was so beautiful. Everybody breathe. You know, I tell people to breathe a lot. Conscious breathing breathes that light into our bodies, you know. So receiving the gift. When I was meditating this morning, they took me up and they showed me the angels that gather at Christmas morning. And these angels are gathering and retelling the birth story. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? They're refocusing on it and they're looking at it. But what they're doing is they're enhancing the energy of the gift that was given. They're celebrating it, and as it gets enhanced, it makes it easier for us to receive. So, it's a beautiful story. So we're going to go over it just a little bit this morning. When Jesus came, an age had just ended. And the age that had ended was one of struggle and survival. And divine thought had been trying to come through the minds of man, as we know. But it was still a very difficult time. And a new age needed to be brought to the earth. And that was what his job was. It was time to feel God and to know love. And over time, celestial teachers were always there. There was always a celestial teacher on the planet somewhere, somehow, trying to lift the vibration of the people. But Jesus was going to be different. He wasn't coming just to teach. He was coming to infuse light into the consciousness of man. And it was a divine awareness. And infusing light is bringing that great gift of the divine. Does that make sense? So, in order to begin, we realized it was a humble birth. He came to humble people. And there was a reason for this. Had he been born into a celebrated family or a family of wealth, he would have been compelled to follow in the footsteps of his parents, because that's how life was perpetuated in that day and time. The sons kept the father's work going. They had no choice. I mean, that was their heritage. And if it was a particularly influential family, he would have to keep the precepts going. So he was born in a family that was simple and loving and able to allow him to be. So the burden of authority did not rest with him. Because of this, he was able to allow the divine to stay within him at all times. He connected. He spoke his truth and walked. He never questioned God, and his heart was whole. All his life, he gave his life force. He infused people with energy. We know this from some of the stories. I know you'll remember about the woman who was following him, seeking to be healed. And a crowd of people were thronged on him. And the woman said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, do you know this story? I'll be healed. And I'm going to share with you in the Aquarian just what happens. She says, if I touch him, I'll be healed. She touched him, and at once the bleeding that she was experiencing ceased. Jesus felt that healing power gone from him, and speaking to the multitude, he said, who touched my coat? And Peter said, no one can tell. All the multitude are pressing against you. A score of people have touched you. And he said, but someone in faith with healing thought did touch my coat, for healing virtues have gone forth from me. And then the woman realized that she had been caught, and she got on her knees and cried and apologized. And Jesus said, your faith has made you whole. Go in peace. Think of that healing energy infusing into her body. There's another chapter in here where he talks about sending healing thought. And everybody was amazed that a woman sent him a thought. He heard it and sent healing energy to her via his thoughts. And they said, how could this be? And he said, how could it not be? God created all of the earth with thought. You just send that beautiful healing energy. He was literally not just teaching words. He was infusing into our world that energy of the divine. A very powerful light. I know that energy, that ability, he left with us. 2 nights ago, my mom called, and she's been going through dialysis, and she was cramping really badly. She was crying. You know when you get a cramp and you're kind of hysterical? And so I had my brother hold the phone to her ear while she was crying. And I did what I know to do, what God has taught me to do. Patrick started sending Reiki, and I started asking Jesus Christ to be with me. And I went into my mom's heart. And then I traveled down into her left leg, and she was going, my legs, my legs, my legs. And as we moved the healing energy into her left leg, she goes, oh, my left leg's better. I wasn't telling her anything. And then she goes, oh, my right, my right, my right. And so I was like, okay, God, we got to go quick. So we're moving the energy down her right leg. And it was just moments. And she was okay because she was standing. She couldn't sit, she couldn't walk, she couldn't move. Her legs were cramped that bad. But I felt Jesus Christ with his hand in my mom as I was directing the energy, you know. And then we came out her heart, and then we sent Reiki. But do you hear what I'm saying? This gift that he gave us, the power to infuse light, the power to move through what he taught us, is so real. He didn't just give it to the people he touched, he gave it to the consciousness of mankind for us to use. And that wasn't the only thing he infused into us. He infused into us a great love for race consciousness, a great love for mankind, and that great connection to God. You know, when we could feel his love of our Creator, we can feel our love of our Creator. Can you just feel it? Just infusing of the divine into us. And then this is what they said. You know, we talk about this and we can understand the healing aspects of it. But what did he do when he brought a Christed spirit into the human body? What did he infuse into the DNA of that human vehicle? What happened when the human body, born of an age of fear, now open to let a spirit of a perfect man, God's Son, come in and access that humanness? It's something we can't understand, but it's something we know happened. And because it happened, it allows all of us in many years to follow to lift our bodies, to be that higher expression of God. So, Spirit, through Jesus, was living in and through the human form. And even in that race consciousness, right where he was born, he was able to begin to infuse with light all the people. So, with the angels this morning retelling the story, as they retell the story in the ethers, it allows that greater light to be infused in us. It allows that greater light to be infused in the planet and the people. So, we're going to retell this story. Ready? Okay. Just a few little points. We know Jesus was born to Mary and Joseph, and we know they were very humble. And we know that Mary and Joseph were literally in transit. They had been taken away from their home. So everything that they knew to keep them secure was not there. They had to move into a space that was completely unfamiliar. And then they had to trust the universe. They had to trust the universe that everything was going to be okay. And I'm sure when she went into labor and they realized the baby was going to be born, I'm sure they didn't know fully what was going to happen. Because as the story goes, they were turned away from every bed. Everyone was full. And it probably looked like it wasn't going to happen. But they were given a space to be. Some call it a stable, some think it was a cave. But they were given this space where they could give birth to this baby. Trusting the universe and the details. And then, of course, as we talked about, the angels went to the shepherds and spoke to them. And then the angels said to them, you know, everything I'm saying is true. A light of God has been born, and if you want to check it out, you can find him in a manger in the swaddling clothes. And so this was accessible to the shepherds, wasn't it? They could go to the manger. But what if they'd been in the inn? You'll find this is true. Go to the inn upstairs, second door on the right, and the baby's there. Do you think the shepherds would have gone? Probably not. But a manger out in the open, we can do that. It's accessible. So he was given to these beings who had to trust. And then other humble beings were told how to access. And then the people came. There were many, many people that came to help this couple. It's almost like the strangers were a part of the story. And it says that a shepherdess, a female, the next day created a space in her home, and Mary and the baby and Joseph stayed there for many days while they were recovering. It's almost as if the world claimed that baby. That baby belonged to everyone, the strangers and the shepherds and everyone. The wise men we've spoken of, the earthly knowledge, the human wisdom, acknowledging the divine coming to earth. And then when Jesus was 40 days old, they took him, as is the Jewish custom, to have him consecrated. And there was a man named Simeon there, and Simeon had asked God his whole life, don't let me die until I see the one that's been prophesied to come, the king, the one who's going to save us and help us. Don't let me die. Apparently he was a very old man. And when Mary brought in the baby Jesus, Simeon looked at him and said, I am ready to go, God, because I've seen the king. And he held the baby and blessed him. And there was another older woman, 84 they say she was, who worshipped and never left the temple. And when she saw the baby, she rejoiced and grabbed the baby and said, this is the Emmanuel we've been waiting for, and started to worship the baby. And the Aquarian tells us that in that moment, a man appeared in white garment, and he said, no, this is child of God and worthy of all praise, but worship God. Worship your Father, not the baby. The baby came to bring you a gift. And in all of these stories, these are the stories we have of the very beginning entry of this being of light, the very beginning. The people in all of the stories received the gift that he brought. And I'm telling you right now, they had no idea what the plan was. You know, isn't it funny how when we get a download from God or a gift from someone, we always go, okay, what's the next half of this? I need to fully understand it before I can do it or step out or embrace it. You understand what I'm saying? As a minister, I've talked to people over the years, years of turmoil in their souls. 20 years they wrestled with guidance that they got, but were afraid to take that first step. And the first step might have simply been to open a door to something greater. But because they wrestled with that first step, because they couldn't see the next one. You see? The gift of being infused with divine love, divine light, does not necessarily bring total wisdom and understanding for you. It brings an elevated space that you can work from. Our journey is to evolve. So if we already know where we're going, if we already know what's going to be expected of us, are we going to do it?
Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes no. When I was very young and David was a baby and I was praying, oh God, what am I going to do with myself? What's my life story about? What do I need to do? And I'm like 32 years old. And they said so specific, follow. If we tell you what the end will be, you will do everything in your power to circumvent the process. I will be rushing to the end thinking I've already achieved, instead of the low 20 plus years of walking to something that I still do not know the end of. That's embracing the infusion of light. It comes with the gift of faith. Taking that beautiful light that Jesus Christ infused into race consciousness, that beautiful, perfect baby being born on that beautiful morning, and everyone who felt it, everyone who was a part of it knew it. They knew this was God divine. Everyone. And now we can bring that energy into us to know that divinity of God. We don't need to understand, we just need to be grateful. Are you ready to receive a gift this morning?
Yeah.
All right, let's put our feet on the floor. God, our Father, our Mother, we just feel that beautiful love of Spirit flooding this room. And I can feel the angels all around us as they hold the energy of the beautiful story of Jesus' birth, the birth of the Christ onto the planet. And you can feel the fibers of light filling the room. Open your heart and lift up just a little bit and be open to those beautiful Christmas angels all around us, that angelic energy, and feel and see these golden strands, silver strands of light is coming in and filling this space. Can you see it? Let your heart open. And as the room becomes filled with light, I want you to become aware of the presence of Jesus Christ walking toward you now. Feel a very deep and personal love for you. As He places His hand on your shoulder or your heart, feel that deep and personal love for you. And hear the words that He shares. I came that you can have light. I came that you can know your Father, Mother. And as He touches you, let that love infuse into your body. Father, Mother God, we receive the gift this morning, the gift of divinity. And we may even feel like the tiny baby just awakening, just being born. But we receive that gift. And just let it move into your body. Let your mind become clear. And look in the eyes of Jesus Christ now. Look clearly and ask, what is my next step in owning this gift? And listen. Just listen for a moment. And as you breathe in the words, let them be written on your heart. And if you got no words but got a feeling, that is information. And if you feel you got nothing, you will, because you asked. You have stood in the presence of Jesus the Christ and asked, and it will come to you. And you will know it when you feel it. Put your hand in the hand of Jesus Christ and thank Him. Thank you for lifting us into that world of possibilities, that world of love. Thank you. And as you breathe, feel the room coming alive with human love now. We felt the angelic love, now that human love, our light. And in this space, God, we truly ask to know and feel that we are one with you, the beloved children. Open to feel, open to know. And we thank you, God. Take a breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. There is so much that could be said. The greatest is simply the experience. I wanted to share this with you. This is from Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And this is as they're having their Christmas celebration and talking about the love that Jesus Christ brought. Love searches out arid spots of the human heart, and with seeming magic touch redeems humanity and transforms the world. Love is God, eternal, limitless, changeless, going beyond all vision into the infinitude. It reveals the Christ within the soul of man. Love is ever seeking an inlet whereby it may flow forth into the soul of man and pour itself out as good to all. Love. That is the gift of the Christ, pouring through our human hearts as it poured through his human heart, to gift and to infuse the world with light. Can you feel your heart? We're going to take one big breath and we're going to infuse the world. Ready? Take a breath. And we're going to send love to the world right now, to all of our brothers and sisters. We gift you with light. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
All right. Say, yay, God.
Yay, God.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.